So we have 4 people in this room. Each of them is going to take on being the commissioner for, 5 minutes and giving one rule or one thing that you would change about the league, or maybe something you like about the league. Probably not.
I'm giving a list. I don't know about you. You can focus on one if you want. I'm giving a list.
I'm doing one thing. I have one major gripe with the league, and I feel like it's come up on this podcast already, even in the few episodes we've done. And the main thing is I really, really hate the difference between how the league is officiated in the regular season and the playoffs.
Yes.
I cannot stand it. I don't care which one it is, to be honest with you. It could be really soft or more physical, but I want it in both because it's unfair to the people that play the game. Consistency. I'm so sick of if the points are going to be up in the regular season, then I want the points to be up in the playoffs, or that same officiating to be kept in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. If it's going to be more physical in the playoffs, I want that in the regular season. I think about guys like James Harden. These are always the people I think about. These guys who have been officiated one way for 82 games, and then just because it's April or May, they're officiated in a completely different way, despite the fact that it is the same basketball game. I hate that. Just make it all the same. That's all I want. Just the same. I just want the same fouls called all the time. I don't, like I said, it could be physical, it could be soft, whatever.
You're a commissioner. You have to make that decision.
Then if it was up to me, I would want.
You want the points.
I want high pace, but I'm cool with more physicality. Okay. I would be probably a little less conservative with my flagrants, and then I would do things to encourage the fast pace.
Sure.
Because I like when teams give. Like I said,
you just described the 80s. That's literally the 80s.
Yeah, I know. I'm mad. If the 80s had 3-point shooting, it would have been perfect.
Or Russell, I mean, are you kind of describing what we're watching right now in the first round of the playoffs?
Because that's the big thing that I've been happy about with the last couple of playoffs, and why I've been so obsessed with this particular thing. Because why can't we just have this for the regular season?
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah. Wow, can I piggyback off of you?
Yes.
Because honestly, I came in here with a list. It's stupid. I have a whole paragraph of stuff because it's based off of the regular season.
Yeah.
Because the regular season is atrocious to watch.
Sure.
I've got ridiculous ideas like kill the 3-ball, make everything worth 2.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's so bad right now, in a regular season. But I've been really watching the NBA playoffs a lot right now, and this is actually what I want. I can handle the 3-point shooting. I can handle the spacing as long as players are allowed to drive to the basket without getting a tic-tac foul every single time. I can actually handle this. I'm actually enjoying basketball.
Oh, the playoffs are great. The playoffs are great. I think we're all together, like young people, old heads. We're all unified that the playoffs are great right now. And that's the thing people miss. They keep on putting like the new fans versus the old fans. I'm like, we're just asking for some little tweaks that can bring us back into it. And literally everyone's happy.
Yes.
Everyone's happy.
It's such a small difference. Allow physicality back into the game. And that's what they're doing right now. They're swallowing their whistles.
Yep.
I mean, it's not the most consistent thing, but I'm noticing 90% of the time they're swallowing the damn whistle.
Yep.
A defender jumps up straight up in the air with his hands straight up, and an offensive player jumps into him. No call. That's what I need.
Yeah.
Because and I'm seeing a lot of people penetrate to the basket. I'm seeing some real defense right now, and it's being allowed. And this is all it takes to get all of us old guys back.
Yeah.
This is all we want because we love basketball so freaking much. Yeah. We don't need to kill the 3-ball if we can just allow some physicality back in the game.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, I don't know how better way to prove it. We will all come back in full form. If you just make a small little tweak like this, we can stop thinking about all these wild things that we need to do to fix the game. It's really one thing. Allow it. I mean, it's a contact sport. Allow some contact without blowing the damn whistle.
Yeah.
Allow masculine competitive professionals to act like masculine competitive professionals.
Yes.
I'm tired of like trash talk, eye contact, iconic moments where guys are battling eye to eye. That was so much of Michael Jordan's career.
Yes.
Like, and I'm not just talking on full on fights. If I was the commissioner too, I don't want to malice the palace.
No, you don't want fights,
so you know where to cut it off, but like, let them talk, man. Let them build some of that competitive animosity. Everybody just feels neutered now. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing that pops in my head when you say that is like, remember, like in the playoffs, it was when Jordan was retired. Actually, Pippen dunking over Patrick Ewing, standing over him and just yelling in his face. Like we need this stuff.
Yeah,
you know, this stuff is timeless. But no,
in that play, Scottie Pippen goes over to Spike Lee and says some trash talk to him.
Sit your ass down.
Yeah.
So fire.
And that's an iconic moment.
Yeah.
What just happened with Luka Doncic right before the playoffs started? He talked some trash to a fan that was in the general area of the referee, and the ref threw him out immediately.
Dude, you saw what happened with Giannis and Tyrese Halliburton's dad, I think?
Yeah. Well, that's wild. That never happened in the 80s. That never happened at any time.
It's like, that's the stuff. It's just like, it sets up, like, you get these, I don't believe in this, but these foul merchants. That's not something I believe in, but
James Harden?
Harden.
You definitely believe in James Harden.
No, but like people say Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is a foul merchant. I personally don't think so. But
there's a point in there I agree with you where they're taking too much credit away from a superstar player because like he shoots 9 free throws instead of 7.
100%. And if you look at some of the greatest players in the history of the game, some of them have shot double-digit free throws per game.
Jerry West, Michael Jordan. Yeah,
thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. Point being,
Wade, probably.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade. Point being, definitely in the 06 finals. But the thing, I just don't like that James Harden gets the calls in the regular season, and so now he prepares for the playoffs thinking he's going to get these calls, and then everybody's mad at him when the refs swallow their whistles. Like, dude, it's so inconsistent.
I know.
It's like, what do you expect? Yeah. I'm playing a different basketball game than I was 2 months ago.
I think it's dangerous too, Russell, to tell you the truth. I've been noticing the conditioning. I haven't seen any injuries yet, but that's what comes next. Okay. Yeah. So you condition for one style of sport throughout the entire 82 game season, right? You're used to not being touched. What happens when you get hit in the rib, shoved in the back, shoved in the air? I don't know if you guys know, you get winded. It takes the wind out of you. That takes conditioning and practice in order to recover from all of that.
Yeah.
Now we're in the playoffs. I'm seeing people gassed. I also saw it last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We had Luka get gassed in the finals. We had Ant-Man get gassed in the conference finals. Yeah. These guys aren't used to it. It's not good for their health to do this. We're going to get injuries in the playoffs at the most crucial time because of this. Yeah, in my opinion. We haven't seen it yet. I might be wrong, but this is how people get injured. Yeah, they're pushing their body to a point where they're not used to, and they can get used to it. But I think, like, as commissioner, he's just trying to prevent people from getting injured in a regular season to save them for the playoffs. But I think it's working the opposite way.
Yeah,
instead we should be conditioning these players to peak out in the playoffs instead of just see like who can handle the physicality and who can't.
I think it's tough though, and I don't necessarily know like where to put the blame, but I don't. Usually I'm blaming Adam Silver for all of this.
I mean, it's fun to blame him.
Well, I think in this specific instance, though, like the players are different than they were back in the day. Like if you want them to compete that hard in the regular season and have that consistency, they got to have the pride to do that. And the problem is you've got a lot of guys now that they just don't care about the regular season as much because they know it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter as much. If you look up home court advantage, like home court advantage used to be in the 80s. The home team won like 62, 63% of the time. Now it's down to like 53, 54% because guys are living, they're flying private jets. They're staying at nicer hotels. They have their training team traveling with them. They just live more luxurious lives that it feels like they're at home when they're not even at home. So that's the tough thing is I feel like if you wanted that consistency, the players got to be a part of that. And I just have a hard time seeing them have that kind of pride that those old school guys did. I think for a while they did with like Kobe's and stuff. You need leaders who are going to set that tone and say, this is how we're going to play. You know, we never saw Carmelo Anthony play like super physical mean until he played super physical and mean because he was up against Kobe in the 2009 playoffs. You know, it's like you need guys who are going to set that tone. So I don't know if that would happen.
It's true.
Back off of that though. A lot of people we tend to blame the commissioner a lot for a lot of this, and like you just mentioned, I think that it's actually more so on the NBA players side. Like that, I think they're a little more at fault just because they've all kind of become a little bit more not divas, but if it's hard for me to get you to play 65 games and I have to add incentives and all this other stuff to try to get you to try, like. I don't know what else Adam Silver could do. He added a tournament in the middle of the NBA season. He added a tournament at the end of the NBA season to try to get more teams in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like he's done things. He's changing up All-Star games, trying to do things to make these players try. So, in my opinion, what we should do is straight up go NFL style and take away your guaranteed contract.
There it is. Dario for the win.
Take away guaranteed contract.
There it is.
Yep. I promise you, if you can't just straight up make $60 million now, and instead you're gonna make $40 million, and you have to work for the 20, I guarantee these players are gonna start playing 70 games again and doing all that.
The problem is, I completely agree with you in a perfect world. The problem is. There's a players union now, and they have to come to an agreement. The idea you're suggesting, if you held to it and dug your heels in, results in a lockout because the players aren't going to go out. Yeah, the players are not going to go for that. And so, like, if you had all authoritarian commissioner power where anything you says goes, then absolutely you could do it. The league's awesome. But I just think realistically, even Adam Silver couldn't do that if he wanted to because now they have to agree on all that. And that's the problem with you give it an inch, they take it a mile. And once you surrender some of that power to the players, they don't ever want to give it back. And they're certainly not going to agree.
Nobody would.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody would.
That's why we're in a players league now.
But honestly, at that, no matter what though, if the NBA had to, or at least because there's not guaranteed contracts technically for certain players on the team. But obviously superstars, those are guaranteed contracts.
Dude,
I think you just forced it. If you literally come on, what else does he have to do to make them try? Like, we can't just keep on blaming Adam Silver for saying, "Hey, like let's do this tournament, so hopefully they could try."
I will say this: sometimes I literally think his solutions hurt. Like you're talking about wanting to guys to care more. Okay, then why are you introducing more ways of feeling like you were successful in the season? Because we literally had, as a Laker fan, I had fellow Laker fans coping with the fact that, well, we didn't win the championship and it was an ugly end of the playoffs, but at least we won the in-season tournament. It's like,
no.
That's not incentivizing.
I've never heard anyone say that, but that's hilarious.
Are they? Yes.
They're bragging about...
Yeah,
what happened there? Nothing happened.
You know who the fans are that I'm talking about because some of them want to be like, well, we can add this to his resume now.
Yeah.
But my point is, if you give guys more ways to be considered winners, then they're not going to strive as hard for the ultimate goal. I literally feel like you're shooting yourself in the foot by making the problem worse. And
it's
so,
participation trophy,
like guys don't try in the All-Star game. Guys don't try in the All-Star game. So let's just try another gimmick for the All-Star game. They're not going to try in that gimmick either. You need to come up with something to make them care about the game, however it's structured. Whether it mean it count towards home court advantage, whether it means have it affect their paycheck and somehow, it's got to do something that makes them care. And just saying East versus West or World versus USA, that's not going to do it.
I can piggyback. Oh, sorry.
No, yeah, I have a, but maybe it'll help here. So I have a question for everybody here because we've been talking about this, and one of the big things that we've heard over the last couple of years is, I don't know if it's the players, but it's just something that's come out, is shrinking the league schedule to something shorter, to like 60 whatever games or whatever. As a historian, please don't do that, NBA. Please don't do that. Mm-hmm. You will ruin it, and it'll be the GOAT debate will end because people will go, oh, well, they played 82 games. They played way more.
And
then that's
of course.
it. Your discussion is over. So please, for the love of God, do not do that, NBA. But what do you guys think? Do you think that would solve anything?
No. Okay, first of all, they're never going to do it. They will never, ever do it. I believe when Adam Silver, whenever that comes up, it's a virtue signal. 100%. I think he's trying to say, we care about our players, so we're thinking about it. But he's lying. He's not thinking about it. They're not considering it. Why the hell did they turn the first round of the playoffs from a 5-game series to a 7-game series? Money. Yeah. How much money are they surrendering?
More money.
If you go from an 82-game schedule to 60, 62, whatever, you're surrendering hundreds of millions of dollars, which means the owners are making less money, which means the players are making less money, which means nobody's happy. Yes. And so that's just – it's never going to happen.
And let's be real. That's the reason for the in-season tournament: more money, more exposure, because no one's watching the regular season, and then the play-in tournament as well, because no one's really caring about that. But we made a whole tournament out of this, basically, to get into the playoffs. I wanted to piggyback off of Johnny earlier when you were talking about like making how he's actually hurting the regular season having importance, like what the importance of what you're doing in a regular season is. The play-in tournament ruined that too. Because now it's not even you have to get in that top 8 spot or else you're out. No, it's like we can be around 10 and we can still just win one game and we're in, guys. It's okay. So let's just stay in cruise control in the regular season, cash in our $40 million and have a good old time. Yeah. We'll be there when it matters.
Damn, those playing games have been good, though, at least. They've been exciting.
The playing games have been exciting, but you're right. It just takes down the value of everything else.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. I could see that point for sure.
No, I agree. And I hate to admit it. I actually enjoy the play-in tournament until it's over. I'm sorry, the in-season tournament until it's over. And then I'm like, that was a waste of time.
Because all it is.
Why did I
like the pretty colors.
Yeah.
My eyes hurt. Okay, my eyes can't handle that.
You like those courts?
I love those courts, man. That's the inner new school person in me, and that's
Russell likes eccentric. He likes personality. He likes pop. You know, but
it's my deal.
The reason why it's awesome is because it's to me it feels like an artificial duplication of a playoff atmosphere. Like that's what it is. It's just they just took the playoffs and introduced it in whatever it is, November, December, January, whatever. It's just a different time of year where now it feels like it's games matter and guys are going all out. And to their credit, they do play like it matters. But we need to figure out ways to have guys be driven and care. And I think part of it is all of these young guys. They don't know how to disconnect from social media to the point that it affects them emotionally. Right. All right. So what we need to do is start celebrating the players who have that mindset. Like is literally, I think it's partially on us as basketball fans. Like shame the dudes who don't play like it matters. Like the guys who don't want to show up for the fans and just want to quote load manage or make an excuse. That's not it. Yeah. If you are a millionaire literally because of me, because of you, because of every basketball fan, that's why you make millions, because we show up in thousands to see you play in the basketball game. And when somebody can just afford to take their son once, every couple of years, he shows up to the game and you're not playing in that one game because you just want to take it off. That's the part that's just the guys don't want to be out there competing,
Did you guys see Wemby at the All-Star game? Like the stuff that he was saying, like he was saying it on the bench. He said it in a press conference as well.
No? I don't think I did. Okay. No, I don't think I did.
Okay. The first thing I saw was Wemby on the bench right before their first game, because it was like a tournament this time around. But it was before the first game that they went in, and he was coming off the bench and he was sitting there kind of shouting with his guys, like not yelling at them, but like they're getting amped up, and he just said, "I'm going full speed every time. I can do it. I'm young." So I was like, this young guy's setting a tone here. It didn't work. It didn't work, unfortunately.
But wait until he's the face of the league.
I want him to be the face of the league. I want his blood clots to be okay, because when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, that's the one. That's the one. I want him to take over for LeBron. Like, as far as like, that's the new tone to set this level of accountability. And then he said it in a press conference after the game, by the way. When he was talking, he was like, yeah, I'm young. He was like, the fans want to see us play hard. It's not hard to play hard. Like, he was like calling out the whole game basically.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the one. That's the guy. Yeah. We do need somebody with a mindset like that. But by the time he gets like $300 million in the bank, that's what I worry about. Sure. Will he still care? You know?
Yeah.
Because most of these guys, they did start out hungry and they did care. But then, you know, they got these guaranteed $50 million contracts. It's like, I can skip a week here, I skip a week there, and it's not going to matter. I'm still getting paid. I think that's the biggest problem, because I consider myself a very accountable, you know, I like to be accountable for my own actions. I like to be proud of myself, right? But I've asked myself the question, if I had $200 million in a bank and I was making $50 million this year, no matter what I did, you might see the worst version of me. I might stop caring. It might happen. I can't, it's hard to fathom, but as a human, it might start happening to me, because it don't matter. I already won the game of life. You know?
I love your humility and like self-awareness to say. I will just say, and I promise you, I'm not joking. For me, it's like a religious belief. And it's like my competitive inspirations growing up were like MJ, Bird, Magic, Kobe. Like, for the areas where my dad wasn't like a dad that pushed me, those guys were. I was like, I want to be like that. You have some guys like that, but they have to see that like a religion, and they have to be maniacal about it to the point where it's infectious. And we've seen it be infectious. Take Team USA. Kobe goes in there and he's showing up early and he's working out before everybody, and he's just determined, competitive. So what happens? Everybody goes, well, he's doing that. How can I not do that? And now they're doing it too. That's leadership. That's influence. And so all those guys are now doing it. And everybody's competing. All these guys are hundreds of millionaires, best players in the world, best players on the team, who are probably going to win the gold medal even with like 75% effort, but they're all given 110% effort because one guy set the tone. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is this a leader or a couple leaders, because Magic and Bird were two leaders, but a couple leaders can come in and set that tone, set that leadership, and then the guys follow. And so that's what I'm hoping for. And it might take a player to do it.
And that's why I brought up the Wemby thing too, because I agree.
That players in the league currently do that right now?
I think they are. I think there are some, you know, because Anthony Edwards just said fairly recently, why aren't these guys playing? He goes out there and tries to play every game. Yeah. What it takes is the faces of the league and the best guys in the NBA. To be fair, I mean, like LeBron, if you love him, hate him, whatever, it's besides the point. The guy literally did say, you know, when talking about basketball, hey, it's just basketball.
It's just basketball. Yeah.
Those words would never leave the mouth of Kobe. And I'm not saying that's the wrong mindset morally or anything like that. I'm just saying it's different. You don't have a guy who's like, this is my everything, and a guy who is like, this is my everything, you know? So it's a mindset thing.
I got to point out an irony too, by the way. You know, the name of LeBron James's documentary, what it was? More Than a Game.
What was it? More Than a Game?
Yeah. More Than a Game. And then what does he say recently? It's just a game. It's just basketball.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, shoot. But no, I agree 100%. It does take one person to set the tone. That's why I got excited when I was watching Wemby say what he was saying. And then I was hoping everyone would rally behind him. But he's coming off the bench for now. He's young. So let's see what an impact he can make in the future, and let's see if people could rally behind him. Because looking back, that's exactly what happened. It was, like you said, Bird and Magic setting the tone. Then it was Jordan setting the tone with the old guys. You know, Bird and Magic and Isaiah Thomas on the rise too. They're all trying to prove each other to each other, you know, who's the best, who should be setting the tone. That was a good problem to have back in the early 90s. It was who is going to be allowed to set the tone. They were fighting over who sets the tone. Now we just need one person to step up and try to do it, because Kobe was left there all alone in his final years. He was the only one trying to set.
Well, for that Lakers team, I still remember him. What was he on, Kimmel or something like that? Looking after that 7-loss streak where he's just like, they finally won one. They're all goofing off, and Kobe's just like, my God, we're celebrating one regular season win like it's a championship.
Kimmel's like, would they be doing that if you were there? And Kobe's look was just like, He's about to slay everybody.
So I think there are guys who could do it. They're just not at that point yet where they have that kind of pull. Like Anthony Edwards is not the face of the league yet. Wemby's not the face of the league yet. And to his credit, as much as Nikola Jokic, people act like he doesn't care. Dude cares. Like, dude is out there getting scars all over him all the time, battling in the paint and that sort of thing.
But with him, it's frustrating because after you win a whole NBA championship, you're like, all right, I want to go back to my horses.
No, for sure.
That's the type of stuff that's like,
for sure.
It just makes it like, I just can't. That frustrates me more than anything LeBron's done, to be honest. Because
no, for sure.
Like, it's literally spitting in the face of like people who work their whole lives to get to that point.
I don't know if I see it that way. It's not. Is it a moral indictment on him if it's not the most important thing in his life? Like,
but no, okay. But you do not. He goes out of his way.
It's not. But he still approaches the game like it's his most important thing.
Yes.
In his life. Like he still battles out there like it's so important to him.
So
I'm talking. Listen, basketball games, a win and loss in a regular season game, you can't convince me that is super important to you if you're healthy and not playing. Like that is
winning
that's
an
where
NBA championship. I would expect you to care about having a parade with the hometown that you just won for, rather than seeing your weird horsey. Okay, like I'm sorry, he wanted to see his horse more than he wanted to see the fans that make him all these millions. Like,
that is fair. It's fair. It's fair.
Guy really loves horses, man. I don't know what it is. I was laughing so hard when all that went down too, because it was like in a press conference after they win a championship, and they're telling him about the parade. He's like, "What parade? What?"
When I'm talking,
the confetti's flying. They're interviewing him. All the confetti's everywhere.
All the way up to that point.
He's just like, you almost averaged a triple-double in the finals. How do you feel? I can't wait to go home.
Dude,
yeah.
I think he's hilarious, but no, that's not certainly the model I would want to follow, or I'm going to teach my son to follow. Like, but I think it's hilarious. I'll look back and be like the NBA champion who didn't care. That'll be a video.